The Torah is holy and divine, but also relevant and timely, and there's a great example in this week's Parshat Tzav. This learning is in the merit of my grandmother, Esther Bat Shaul. May her neshama have an aliyah. We are in the third book of the Torah, the book of Vayikra, in English Leviticus, and a lot of this book has to do with the way that the priests, the Kohanim, are to conduct themselves, how they are supposed to do korbanot, do sacrifices in the portable tabernacle in the desert, the Mishkan, while the Jews are still traveling through the desert, and then later in Eretz Yisrael, in the land of Israel, in the Beit HaMikdash, the big temple that will be in Jerusalem. There's actually a really nice idea here. So the Kohanim, the priests, every day have to light a fire on the Mizbeach, on the altar, every single day. It specifically says not to go out every morning. They should do this every single morning. Is there anything that you do every single morning? If there is, I guarantee you there have been mornings that you did not feel like doing the thing that you did. And I think about this all the time, like in relation to a lot of things. First of all, work. Like, you show up to work every day, whether or not you want to show up to work. You work out when you're supposed to work out, whether or not you want to work out. If we went to work only when we wanted to, if we worked out only when we wanted to, all these things, if you only do these things when you want to, you probably wouldn't do it very often. But there's something beautiful about this consistency of doing things every single day, of showing up consistently. And it made me think about something in Pirkei Avot, the ethics of the fathers. The idea is mitzvah goreret mitzvah, that each good deed begets commandment. Each commandment begets another commandment. If a man does one mitzvah, it is easier for him to do others. And on the opposite side, if one begins to sin, it is much easier for him to sin. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. And so if you are doing these good things, even when you don't feel like doing them, these commandments, even when you don't feel like doing them, you will continue to do those good things. It reminds me of a story that my mom used to tell us about a evil man who loved a beautiful woman. And he was very ugly on the outside, as ugly on the outside as he was on the inside. But he really loved this woman and she was a good person. And so he pretended to be a good person and he put on this mask that made him handsome. And he met this woman, he acted like he was a good person, they fell in love. Many, many years later, someone found out about his secret and unmasked him. And guess what? The person he was underneath was just as beautiful as the mask. He had become a good person by pretending to be a good person. Mitzvah goreret mitzvah. And there's another idea here in the Talmud that a person should always engage in Torah study and performance of mitzvot, even if not for the sake of doing the mitzvah, of doing the commandment. Because by doing the thing, they will begin to understand and they will come to perform them for its own sake. So even if you have an ulterior motive for doing something, this is kind of, I'm extrapolating here, but even if you have an ulterior motive for doing something, once you begin to do it, you'll begin to understand why you're doing it. And it's this beautiful example of mitzvah goreret mitzvah. The more that you do something, the more that you show up and are consistent with something, you will become that person. We can be like the man in the story, where the person who you are behind the mask is the same person as you are presenting to the outside. And then, of course, every time there's a mention of a perpetual fire, of an Eish Tamid, of a Ner Tamid, a continual light, it just reminds me of the idea of the Jewish people being an eternal people. So as we know, there's a perpetual fire in the temple that will be in the Mishkan as the Jewish people are traveling through the desert, and then also in the Beit HaMikdash once they get to Yerushalayim. We have these in synagogues today, this symbolism of a light that does not go out. And I don't believe in continuity and perpetuity for perpetuity's sake, because we should exist so we can continue to exist. No, it's so much more meaningful than this. It's that Judaism is a meaningful religion, that it makes your life better, that it makes the world around you better, that mitzvot are important, and it is valuable to be connected to God, because we have this God that has kept us, that has kept us this eternal people. Because of our faith, because of our mitzvot, because of our traditions, it has kept the Jewish people alive. I've said this before, that have the Jewish people kept Shabbat, or has Shabbat kept the Jews? That we have these traditions that keep us alive, not just for the sake of being alive, but because mitzvot are meaningful, because we have this eternal connection to God. And we are here trying to make the world a better place. This is what our goal is. So those are the ideas. Shabbat Shalom.